Hi everybody, Martin here again. I want to tell you a little story on a friend of mine who had a little home business which he'd started up. He spoke to me before that he had this hobby and he asked me to possibly help him take it online. What this business was basically he's a bit of an artist. I first met him in my local pub, for example, and he sat down within 10 minutes, he had a pen and he sketched me, and I thought that was fantastic. And then I went around his house and he showed me other skills that he's got. He does pop art basically. So I said, no, you have got a skill there. He said, but I really enjoy it, like watercolours, acrylic paints or whatever. I said, what I'll show you is how to take your business online basically. He'd done a few stuff for people locally and sold a few paintings locally and been commissioned to do stuff like that. But I said to him, what we'll get you an eBay account where you can basically get your skill out to a wider audience. Now, I had no knowledge in this business whatsoever, and I just left him to it. We set up his eBay account, we set up his PayPal account, and basically off he went. Anyway, I think it must be about, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 months later. I'm going back about 2 years now. I asked him how he was doing. Oh, I'm not selling anything, like blah, 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 whatever. I went on his account and see that like he had a few pictures of a few celebrities on there and stuff like that, and what he thought would sell. Not about what the market was telling him, it was what he had done before and paintings he'd done, paintings he personally had liked, and they basically weren't selling. And not only that, there was also people selling hundreds and hundreds of the same painting a lot more professionally than what he was doing. So I said to him, what you need to be able to do, I said, obviously in a day, I said, where do you hope to go with this business? And he said, well, I just want to sort of do about 4, if I can do about 4 or 5 of these a day or whatever, and I'll probably charge, I don't know, £10 each or £8 each. I said, well, that's no good. You're not going to make any money. Plus, the amount of time it takes you to do one painting, you're going to be working all day for sort of not earning a lot of money. It's just worse than having a job inside because you're tied to one place. I said, you want to find out a way which you can scale this business up so that you can, in a way, call it automating it. Yeah, but I enjoy it. He had it in his kitchen. He had it all set up, his little workstation there with his easel and all his colours, sitting by a window there and a glass of wine or whatever. And he used to enjoy doing that. I said, yeah, but it's not really scalable. So even if you did get the orders coming, you're going to be spending all your time sitting down painting to fulfill orders without enjoying life. I said, that's not the way to do it. Yeah, but that's the way I want to do it. Okay, fair enough. So anyway, I showed him a few tips on how to choose certain markets or choose certain images or pictures or whatever to paint. And he did start to sell a few more. But inevitably what happened was that sooner or later he was spending more time actually doing painting, and he got to the stage where he started letting it slip. So he wasn't sending the paintings out, and then he was starting to get people complaining that they placed an order 2 weeks ago, still hadn't received it, and he was having to make excuses, all because he, as I said, he didn't think it through where it was scalable, where he was going to be spending too much time. Anyway, cut a long story short, I actually said to him, I knew nothing about painting, and I said, well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I know what I would do if I was going to scale this business up. And I'd done a little test with him, I had a little wager with him. I said, but this time next year, this time in a few months' time, I said, what I'll do, I'm going to start up a little venture in the same sort of area, but I'm going to do it the way that I feel it can be scaled up as a business. And then we'll see who's making the most money. So anyway, what I did, I'd analysed this business and I found what I'd said is all I've always told you, copied at successful people. Now don't forget, I'm coming in it from a logical business lateral thinking type of person, as opposed to him, who was totally engrossed in his business and his little venture. It was his hobby and he enjoyed it, but he had no marketing skills. So anyway, I went on eBay and using my tips and tricks, which I do show in my Online Empire Builder DVD set, and also in my Auction Reaper DVD, my training DVD, I'll show all these tips in them 2 training videos. I found the successful people to fit the criteria for me to imitate or mimic. As a result of that, I went out and I spent £3,600 on the top canvas printing machine, wide format canvas printing. Now, rather than, because I couldn't paint, I'm not a painter, so this to me was the next logical stage where I could get people to send me their images via photographs or whatever, and all I had to do was know how to automate it without me having to actually produce anything. So I bought the equipment, I bought all the canvas frame machines and the stretcher bars, and I learnt the skills involved in how to do. I'd never done anything like this before. It's a totally new venture, and this was basically done as a project. So I was all set up in the August of that year, And September, October, November, December, I had the plans, because as I said, we operate a few home businesses from home, which I used to do all the work, and I've handed that over to my wife now. For example, the product, we create certain products in different niches. My wife does all that now. As you know, I just basically teach and educate people to do what I've done to learn how to work from home. But anyway, for this venture, I was going to be doing this. My wife was busy with all the other little projects which we run. So I was going to do this. So anyway, what I did, I found out successful people. I found out where they got their supplies from. All research which can be done, because you've got to become a bit of a lateral thinker and be an investigator. And I basically did a better job than them and put the same type of ad out in the same places that they was doing, mimic the successful, as I've told you before. So between August and December, I was on the learning curve as well. Never been involved in this business before. I had to learn how to make a frame up. I had to get the staple guns to be able to stretch the canvas over, learn how to do that. The printing, get out how to take a photo print, how to blow it up, how to get it to wrap around the frame, all that sort of stuff, and how to actually create the product. Not only that, then I had to get all the new packaging, because it was a whole new set of dedicated packaging, and knowing how to ship these out. Well, anyway, I sold literally hundreds of these products, these canvases. Not only there, I also took it one step further, where I created an online shop as well. And also, knowing it's a sort of business which you can get local repeat customers, I actually had 5,000 leaflets delivered locally all around me, and I used to get loads of people coming to the website from locally. I think 5,000 leaflets cost about 80 quid, full colour leaflets on eBay. So local advertising, all it took was paying someone a few pounds to go around and deliver these leaflets or whatever. So you can get out this sort of little business can get you out of work. Anyway, to cut a long story short, by the Christmas, I think you'll see my video 2 years ago where I said that we got so many orders coming in. Well, this was one of the reasons why. And I was so overrun with business, because I was having not only to do what I'm doing now, my wife was doing all the other products which we create and ship out to all over the world, but I was now also having to make up these 20 by 30 frame, and we've done all the different sizes as well, so I catered for all different sizes, but the biggest ones were like that sort of size. And we used to ship these off all over the world, but I was so busy physically making these frames up. And cut a long story short, I thought to myself, well, I had planned to give this and pass this over to my wife to run this business, because it was turning out, I think between the November and the early January, that was over the Christmas period, I think we pulled in something like £2,000. Now that was going into a totally new business, which I had no knowledge in whatsoever. Surely I bought the machinery and all that, the big printing machine and all that. I'd done that, but I mean that was that's an investment, because that would have earned more and more money if I would have carried the business on. But I realised that it wasn't the sort of business, home business, that I had an interest in, because my obviously venture now is teaching people. That's what I do now. But I was proving the point that you can, if you've got an interest in something, and your goal is to work from home, and if you've got an interest like my friend did in painting, find someone successful who's doing it successfully, for example, on eBay, and basically mimic them. Now, as I said to you, I got my supplies from this person. I got the skills, tips and tricks off of YouTube, for example, to learn how to actually create the product and how to do it properly, tips and tricks and stuff like that. So all the information's there, but you've just got to become a lateral thinker and learn how to feed off of successful people and imitate the successful. So to cut a long story short, I ended up selling that as a going business on eBay. I actually sold the business on eBay, complete with the new printer, all the stock, the contact list who I'd built up from August to January, the website and the domain name. I sold the whole lot as a going package, and I made money on that as well. So all I'm saying to you is that you have to realise that find what you want to do. It's not all about sending out emails and generating email lists. That was a total offline business, physically creating products and getting to the largest audience possible via, it's not free advertising, but the cheapest advertising, the way of doing that, by leaflet drop locally, because it was the sort of thing where people have got anniversaries, birthdays, weddings, stuff like that, where they like a unique present, and you've got thousands of people around you where you can actually create and build a business like that. I ended up selling it to a wedding photographer, by the way. He'd been looking on eBay to get into doing canvas prints of the weddings. He's had people like ask. And that's what I'm saying. Things develop. Once you get into an avenue, you then find other things start to pop up in that avenue. He was obviously doing wedding photography. He was getting feedback coming back from him saying that, oh, do you do canvas printing and stuff like that? Realising that there's a lot of money to be made. It was his business. He wasn't wrapped up in the get-rich-quick stuff, so he delved into the canvas printing, which is what I was in. Now, the long shot of that was that surely I won my bet. I said to my friend, well, I told you, there you go. I'm showing you, if you would listen to me, that was how you scale your business up. This was 2 years ago. What is he doing now? He went out, he bought a wide format printer, he gets the canvas sheets on the roll. I've told him how to search and research markets where, look for the successful on eBay. There's loads of people who do this wrong, by the way. You've got to know how to do it. You don't just find someone who's selling lots of something and then just copy them and do exactly what they do. There's certain things you have to look for. Little pointers, for example, which is the difference between winning and just becoming someone else selling loads of stuff that don't sell. And he sells, on average, I don't know, 25 to 30 pictures a week at the moment. And he sells them without him having to sit there like he said he used to enjoy doing his art and all that. He puts them into a printer, puts a bit of canvas into a printer, presses a button from a file, which is already stored, he's already sized it up and all that. And then he rolls it up into a tube or takes it down to the post office. So he listened to me eventually and took his little hobby and learned how to scale it up where he so-called automated it. It's a real business. It's work from home. I proved it again in that one, just like I did with my auction reaper. When I launched my auction reaper last year, I actually put my methods to the test. As I said to you before, with auction reaper, I was buying stuff locally or from China. I mentioned the little keyring I bought. I bought that in for $7 and I sold it for £19.95. So I do actually prove these things. That's why you won't hear from me in a subject for a while, and then suddenly a year or two later you'll come out and I'll tell you these things because I've proved that it's actually worked. So there's a lovely little tip for you. Find someone successful that you want to do, because if you've got a hobby or a skill or something you're interested in, it can be replicated if you find the people, because when you buy something or if you've got a hobby, sure, there's people selling stuff in every niche and it's done on automating. Your thing is learning how to put it all together and to put yourself on display so that you can generate income from people from a website, for example. And that's what you'll learn if you purchase my Online Empire Builder DVD set, which I've recently updated, I must say. I created it in 2008. It's now 2011 now, and I've updated it because the web has changed. But the basic thing is you're going to learn all the core skills needed to actually operate and run a business from home as cheaply as possible. It's not about spending loads of money. I don't believe in that. I now know, as I said to you before, how to create a presence online for as little as possible. And you'll learn all that in the Online Empire Builder DVD set. Check me out. Have a look at a few of my other videos on YouTube and basically see, I'm not into the hype and promising you £10,000 a month for doing no work and putting it on automation. It's not about that. It's about taking a home, moving away from regular employment where you're told what to do and starting to live your life. And you're only going to really want to do that if you've been down that road and you got sick of working for someone else. And also, if you've also followed the internet marketing, get rich quick stuff and all that and realise that's not all what it's meant to be. Time to stop all that rubbish now and start to build a real business like I've done. And I started this in 2005, as I told you. I took the chance and I made the jump in 2005. Without any of the get-rich-quick hype rubbish stuff which I've done in the past, I've done it by basically focusing on a simple business model and learning how to scale it up and feeding off the right people. That's what I'm here for, and I'll show you how to do exactly the same. This is Martin signing off. I'll speak to you again soon. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.